Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Well, good morning. Nick Collier here, and it's another cold end of December 2015 winter. Not that cold in here as it is outside, which is interesting. I don't have a fire going. This building seems to retain its heat a little bit. So we made our first sleeve, which was this one here, 4 1/4 inches long. Now we need to make the 4 1/2 inch long one, and it's just about the same sleeve. It's just a little bit different on the measurements. Can you see that? Let's see if you can see that. Well, no, you can't. Not too well. There we go. We're going to work on that one there. And, you know, we got the sleeve in the lathe. Can you see that? Yes, you can. And I think we're ready to go. All we need to do is change out our head and get rolling. So let's do that. Take the little mini boring head out. Drop in the quick change head. And before I do anything else, I need to go put gloves on. For one, this metal is cold, and for another, I don't really want to get that greasy. And amazingly enough, these gloves help with the cold metal. And then these little cotton fingerless gloves work really well for just keeping my hands warm and still allowing me to, you know, maneuver the metal around. So we got this in place. I think what we want to do next is, or first really, is come in and square up that face there. We're going to bring you up above so you can see here. And the next thing we want to do is create that little shoulder so that the head bottoms out on it, and we can do that. Let's get this up on the. There we go. So let's put a different cutting bit in. The other different cutting bit. That's better. So let's flip this around, and we're going to see how it acts hanging way out there on the end, kind of like that. Yep, we've got plenty of room, and we can get all the way into that corner. Let's see what that looks like. Pretty square up. And you can see that, well, it's almost even actually, but if there was more that we didn't cut over here and more that we did cut over here, then it would tell me that this has got a bit of a taper to it and we need to move our tailstock back. But it's looking reasonably even. It's in two different places, but it's still reasonably even. So let's just give it a measurement and see what we've got. There we go. All right, so we've got 970. And here, look at that. It's like a half a thousandths under. So this thing is totally square up. Nice. All right, let's take another cut, and this cut should just take us to total cleanup. Okay, well, our outside, it wants to be 2793, and we're sitting at probably 290 right now, so or 290. So we've got a bit to go, and I'm going to pull 50 thousandths off of this. Let's see. Let me make sure. We're sitting at 2925.30. Yeah, I could pull 50 thousandths off of this without even thinking about it. So let's do that. All right, well, the lathe will handle 50 thousandths, but it creates these god-awful chips. Well, not chips, strings that are almost dangerous. So we're going to take 25 at a time and maybe build up from there. Now one thing I see is we're starting to hit our center, and we need to figure out how to do that without hitting the center. Well, we could come all the way down until we get close and then just turn the bit and come in and just do that last little bit. Let's do that. So we're going to rotate our bit back. Even to there is not bad. Okay. And all right, let's take a measurement. We've got 775, 7, 1, 2, 3, so almost 8. Yep, there's 8. So 798 or something like that. And we are looking for 798, and that's hot. And we're looking for 793. Whee! That was just too close for comfort. Okay, so we're going to take almost just a spring cut. Let's give a spring cut a try. Okay, by the time it cooled off, we're sitting at 190. What are we sitting at? $192, which is a thousandths under where we wanted to be, which was 193, or not 197, or 290. 2793. Okay, let's get those numbers right, Nick. So what I want to do now is just come in and square up this inside edge just a little bit, so that we've got a nice square edge for that head to drop down onto. So we're going to bring this back in, snug it up. Crashing into the back side of that right there, so let's bring bring it back a little bit. We certainly have the room. Until we touch. Let's take a little more. Yeah, there's a square edge. Back that up. Back this up. And I'm not sure. Let's just see what our hole is first. And our hole should be 2654, so that's a substantial amount. And I'm thinking we just come in and bore this out. It's easier on the lathe, it takes less time. We're all set up to do it. All we have to do is put the steady rest in. The other way. All right. Tighten that up. Oops. Okay. Bring our cone back in. Give it a spin. Make sure we're nice and tight. Now we come in, and I'm going to bring you in close for this. Okay, and if we're looking at the gap right between the slide of the steady rest and the piece of material itself, we just kind of bring it in till it just barely touches. And we're talking about barely, because we don't want to move the sleeve at all. We're going to go ahead and go do the back one and then the top one, and we'll come back. Okay, so what we want to do now is pull the bit out. Get our boring bar, drop that back in place. Straighten this out a little bit. And I think we're ready to start boring. Alright, so we got a whole wad of stuff in here we got to get out. The first thing out. Alright. Let's take a measurement. Two 654 is where we want to be. 265.4, and we still got a good 1/4 of an inch to get off of there. It's going to leave us pretty thin, but still okay. So we got at least another 1,000 or 100 thousandths is going to be a good guess at this point. It's going to be definitely more. So let's break them out. Another check. And we're a good 1/8 out at this point, so we could take another 25. Well, good morning, Nick Collier here, and we're going to take off and continue with the process here. We've got this one more sleeve to bore out, and we're going to do that on the mill because it's a little bit more accurate bore. And I'm going to bring you a little closer here, and we're going to look at this and talk about it a little bit. Okay, so since the bore needs to be, the inside and outside walls need to be concentric with one another, and that's pretty easy. We've got that all set up right now, but they don't have to be totally accurate square with one another as far as this direction or this direction is concerned, just as far as the degrees are concerned. So what we're doing here is we're going to try a little experiment, and I've got this thing down to, you know what, let me turn it the other way. I've got this down to a couple of thousandths. Hang on here. I had it to a couple of thousandths. There we go. Okay, so we're going to just bring it in a little bit tighter. And I think some of that is just bounce. So we've got about 2, which is plenty. So we're 2 thousandths, the center bore is 2 thousandths concentric with the outer bore. So let's take off the coax indicator and get the little rod so it doesn't get lost. And we're going to put the boring head in. Oops, we got to take that tool out first though, don't we? Okay. All right, so we got the boring head in. Put the tool back in. And I think this was the cutting tool. I'm going to take it over and sharpen it just a little bit. Okay, so our bit's a little bit too wide, so we're going to draw that in a tad. Okay, that ought to do it. Yep, it's not hitting there, but we want it to hit just a little bit. All right, let's give that a try. That looks pretty good. We need to kick our gear drive in. Well, it's not hitting. Okay. Come on. Okay, just starting to hit. So we're going to give it just a couple of more thousandths, and we should be good. I'm hearing it hit. And I'm thinking we can spin a little faster. And we're going to put a little oil in that. All right, let's go. Now what I'm hearing it skip right about there. So I'm going to take this in just a little bit, maybe a thou or two. Yeah, now it's a more even hit. Maybe just a little bit more. So I've got it almost 4 thousandths in, and I'm seeing that it's I'm going to back it up a couple. Yeah. Hear it? Now it's hitting all the way around. So we'll just let that dive down and we'll come back soon. Looks like my bit is laying just a little bit too far to the off center. So let's just bring it around a little bit here. There we go. See how that rides. Looks good. And we want to bring it in a little bit. It's hitting, but not as much as I want. There we go. All right, so we've got the spacer done. We did the final cut, and so let's take it out and see how it's going to go. We'll be back.